so we are going to do this experiment where I mix the baking soda solution and a calcium chloride solution. So first, I'm going to add 20 milliliters of water to each one of my cups. And I've labeled my cups calcium chloride and baking soda so I can keep track of them. Next, I'm going to want to add 2 grams of calcium chloride. So I'm going to turn on my scale. And I'm going to add 2 grams of calcium chloride to it. Let me grab my calcium chloride. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing here. I think this stuff might be ice. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious, check this out. I'm a little excited with the calcium chloride. Let's dump some back. Make sure we get all of it in there. Still have 3 grams, still too much. Okay. Still have 3 grams, still too much. Oh great, now I have 1 gram. Two grams. All right, so I'm gonna put this in there and get it dissolving. Stir that with my spoon so that it dissolves. Okay, it says to swirl until it dissolves. Swirl, 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 swirl. You guys are so excited to watch me swirl a cup. I'm gonna put the lid back on so that nothing bad happens. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing with the baking soda. I'm gonna tare it. Let's add 2 grams of baking soda. Get a clean spoon. Oh, once again, so excited about the baking soda. I'm gonna just pick this up, pour some of it back. Okay, we're doing the same thing we did last time. Take some out, put some back. And sometimes, wait, I'm gonna just put this on here and tear it again. Okay. Yeah, my scale's being a little bit funny. They do that sometimes. It really kind of irritates me hard. Okay. A little bit more. 2 grams. Boom. Okay. Let's put it in there. We're going to dissolve it. Swirl, swirl, swirl. Calcium chloride's pretty much all dissolved. Swirl, swirl, swirl on the baking soda. It says that some undissolved baking soda may remain in the bottom of the cup. But I think yeah, look, there's a little bit of, it's kind of hard to see. I think, well, no, I think we got it all. Go us. Okay. Carefully pour the baking soda solution into the calcium chloride solution. So let's watch this. Okay, so if you look, they're both pretty solidly dissolved. Huh? Solidly dissolved. They're not solids anymore. So calcium chloride's pretty clear. No, look. Baking soda does have a little bit of sludge at the bottom. So I'm gonna need to make sure that I don't pour that sludge in, okay? So it says carefully pour the baking soda in solution into the calcium chloride solution. Try not to pour in any undissolved baking soda and then observe. So let's observe here. Make sure that we are good. And okay, so we are seeing some things in there. Those are bubbles, okay? Those are bubbles at the top. So there are some bubbles, but there are no solids. Baking soda has some solids at the bottom that I'm gonna try to not pour in. Didn't pour in the solids. Okay, so first of all, There are bubbles happening in this room. Ooh, lots of bubbles. I like bubbles. Okay. So, first of all, there's bubbles. But then, let's look and see what happens down below. It's opaque. I'm going to swirl it a bit, make this reaction happen a little bit faster. I'm not a very patient person. Okay. If you look, it's no longer clear. It's kind of a milky white color. So we've got these bubbles. Did a chemical reaction happen? We have bubbles, and they both went from being clear to this milky white color. And then if you look, I'm gonna let it sit for a minute. Let's look, let's make sure we're good and focused. And let's see what happens to this milky white stuff. Now, if we look at the chemical formula, while this is settling out, you have calcium chloride plus sodium bicarbonate gives us calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is chalk. Sodium chloride, that's salt. Salt's one of our favorites. And water and carbon dioxide. Did we see? We saw the carbon dioxide happen. Calcium carbonate, where did it go? Calcium carbonate, that's this chalky white stuff. Looks like I've got a hair on the outside of my cup. That's the chalky white stuff. It's called a precipitate because it's an insoluble fluid, or not fluid, insoluble solid that came out of the liquid. So now I'm gonna go come walk with me. There is our supply table. Woo! We're gonna back up a little bit. I'm gonna grab a coffee filter and I'm gonna grab a cup and we're gonna see if we can filter this stuff out of there. Oops, I grabbed 2 coffee filters. So here's a question, can we filter out the salt? Because remember, it produced calcium carbonate and sodium chloride. We can't filter the sodium chloride out. If we could drink the oceans and life would be great, but we can't drink the oceans, right? So we can't filter out the salt water. So if we want to get the salt out of the water, we have to evaporate out the water, which we could totally do. Okay, sorry. I don't always focus very well on what I'm doing because I'm doing this with like one hand. All right, so now I'm gonna stir this a little bit, get it off the bottom. I'm gonna pour it in my coffee filter so that we can filter out. If you see, it's coming through kind of clear. I'm gonna bring you over here. I did one of these yesterday. And I've got a bunch of the powdery precipitate up here. That's just powdered chalk, calcium carbonate. And then see how that is. Now, if I drank that, which I'm not going to do, it's salt water. So I could put this under a heat lamp, which I think I'm totally going to do, evaporate the water and then get the salt out of it. So I can separate all these chemicals. So there you have it. That's the first experiment today.